really was unsettling.
It's like Large Marge and Pee-wee, right? Eyes just bugged out at you.
That was the worst concert I ever seen. Hi, nerds! Wow, okay. Lowering of the energy level there. Let's see. Let's get some house lights up for a second. Let's get a look at you people.
Yeah.
Do we have any active cosplay going on in here? Oh, okay, we got it. Yeah, all right, awesome. You get your boomstick or just that? Okay.
And the rest of you are dressed up as tech support tonight.
Yes. It's the world's largest IT department cosplay gathering.
Which is also our cosplay tonight.
Yes, the world's largest IT cosplay gathering is my They Might Be Giants cover band.
And for those new to the Paul and Storm experience, there's a little taste.
Yeah, actually, how many of you, by show of hands, have never seen a Paul and Storm live performance before?
Wow, why do we write new material?
Yeah. That's my Rolling Stones cover band. Thank you very much.
Take that, successful rock band.
Take that, 100 millionaires. That's, for those of you who haven't seen this, it's just going to be this all night. That's really just that's a prop more so than an actual instrument. No, we're going to do some songs for you. We are Paul and Storm. Hello. I should say we are Paul and Storm. Ellipses. Hello! Exclamation point. We are not Paul and Storm Hello, which is our Paul and Storm cover band.
Let's go ahead and bring the house lights down.
That's quite enough of you people. We're going to do some songs for you. And I do believe, as we sort of alluded to earlier, how many of you, just by noise, would self-identify as a nerd? This first song here is pandering directly to you people, our fan base, then.
Yeah, and how many of those people who shouted just now, how many of you read? This will go just fine.
You're worried about the illiterate nerd population in the audience?
No, it's a very small sliver of some Venn diagram, but it's there.
I'm extremely erudite. I just refuse to read things. Fuck you, words.
Which is my Anya cover band.
So that's 6 minutes into the show. 4 cover band references, no songs played yet. Let's fix that ratio. George R.R. Martin, please write and write faster. You're not going to get any younger, you know. Winter is coming, I'm growing impatient, and you still got 2 whole damn books left to go. So write, George, write like the wind. I curse the day that my friend ever loaned me an old dog-eared paperback called Game of Thrones. How could I know that this seed would grow into an addiction that held me right down to my bones? Now 5 years later I work with the masses, indignant, entitled, and waiting for a word. And the great bearded glacier has finally published 900 more pages of crack for the nerds. Why does every new verse of your song keep taking you so goddamn long? George R.R. Martin, please write and write faster. Please give us foiled leather and sigils in steel. We need our allotment of incest and intrigue and 6-page descriptions of every last meal. So write, George, write like the wind. Lewis took 5 years to chronicle Narnia. Tolkien had 12 years and Rowling took 10. Lucas spent nearly 3 decades on Star Wars, and we all know how that one turned out in the end. You're not our bitch and you're not a machine, and we don't mean to dictate how you spend your days, but please bear in mind in the time that you had, William Shakespeare churned out 35 friggin' plays, and if you keep writing so slow, you'll hold up the HBO show. please write and write faster, cause we won't stop whining until we're appeased. Crap out the chapters, and George, while you're at it, stop killing our favorite characters, please. And write, George, write. Like the George R.R. Martin, please write and write faster. Before you are dead, George, please write like the wind.
Thank you. That song is dedicated to Pat Rothfuss. He's up there. He's not happy.
But that's for no particular reason. He just likes that song.
Actually, he's fine, but his beard is really pissed about it. We actually do have a Pat Rothfuss version of that song. Oh, was that your Rothfuss beard? Guys, it's like the tendrils of Cthulhu. But
we have a name of my Rush cover band.
Nice. We have a Pat Rothfuss version of that song we did for his World Builders charity this past Christmas time. And we realized it took very, very little lyrical alteration. Guy with a beard, writes slow, done. We had, for those of you who don't know, a relatively successful Kickstarter campaign the end of last year. Among other things, that campaign is going to be funding our next CD, which is called Ball Pit, which will be coming out very soon. We're going to do a number of songs from that CD, including this next song here, which is, it's autobiographical. All of our songs are autobiographical. Yeah, they're all autobiographical and they're all love songs, like that first one you just heard. This one is equally autobiographical, and it is a love song in its own way.
Yeah, I would say it is.
This is called My Favorite Band.
My favorite band doesn't write new songs anymore. My favorite band hasn't played a show in more than 14 years. I know that I should let it go. Believe me, I have tried, but no other band can make me feel the way I feel inside when they sing sha-na-na-na-na-na-na. I will never be untrue to my favorite band, sha-na-na-na-na-na. And I don't care if no one understands. I thought they'd be around forever. Everything was a-okay when they all played together. My favorite band. I needed a plan, had to make things better again. I rented a van and I drove around to where each one of them lived. It took a lot of time and all my powers of persuasion and just a touch of chloroform. Now they're all in my basement singing sha-na-na-na-na-na-na. Reunited again, my favorite band, sha-na-na-na-na-na. And they all agree that I'm their biggest fan, and now they'll be around forever. Everything is super cool now that they're back together. My favorite band, they understand the way things are now. All they have to do is play the songs that I love over and over and over. And in return they know I'll worship them forever and make their favorite meals and keep their cages clean. It's a great deal, sha-na-na-na-na-na-na. And let's party with my favorite band, sha-na-na-na-na-na. Acapella with my favorite band, sha-na-na-na-na-na. Here forever with my favorite band, sha-na-na-na-na-na.
That was unsettling. We are now going to do a song about an American hero. It's not G.I. Joe. It's a real, nor Captain America, yes, sorry. Sorry, nerds. Like he doesn't have enough going on this year. No, this is about an actual, formerly living American hero. We had never heard of him until we read his obituary a number of years ago. And that's correct, you're way ahead of me, sir. Thank you for the spoiler, though.
That means now we don't have to sing it.
That's right. No, we read his obituary, we realized he's touched every single person's life in this room, I'm willing to bet. And if anybody deserved a song written about him, it was this man.
In fact, he was so deserving, it should have been written by somebody else.
Indeed. But we got there first, so this is our song for him. It being a tribute to a dead person, you may ready your lighters or lighter apps for waving during the choruses.
Or having actually seen you, you may want to go ahead and start writing your own app. There will be prizes for the best 50 by the end of the song.
Robert C. Baker died on a Monday. We all know his work, although few knew his name. A Cornell professor who taught poultry science, forever enshrined in the Poultry Hall of Fame. 84 years worth of food innovations, chicken dogs, turkey dogs, and turkey ham. But beyond them all stands Baker's greatest creation, for Baker begat chicken nuggets for man. Oh, nugget man, heading on down to our old promised land. Happy the meals all have been since the day that the nugget man came our way. Robert C. Baker, way back in the 50s, changed the way children and college kids eat when he invented a way to get breading to adhere much better to raw chicken meat. His new method led fast food chains in the 80s to develop and market a new bite-sized snack food made from mechanically recovered meat and anti-foaming products, reconstituted meat slurry, and extra chicken skin for its binding properties. Oh, nugget man, heading on down to that old promised land. Happy the meals all have been since the day that the nugget man came our way. The king of the burgers is mourning with Popeye. The colonel has arranged a 21-gun salute. The churches are silent, but for Wendy's weeping. And Ronald has hung up his big yellow clown suit. Robert C. Baker's last will was specific, that his bones be removed and he be ground up real fine, and to place his remains into small cardboard coffins and bury the pieces 6 at a time. Everyone! Oh, nugget man, heading on down to that old promised land, dipped into his honey mustard-filled grave. We're glad the nugget man came our way. We're glad the nugget man came our way. Nugget man. We're now going to do a song about boxing nuns.
Wow, a lot of either Catholics or boxing fans in the house tonight.
surprising lack of overlap between those two in that Venn diagram for some reason.
So imagine for the next 4 minutes or so that we're no longer here at the Triple Door. Instead, we are in a vast boxing cathedral. They accepted it very easily.
People were really getting into it, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna how did I get here and how will I get back to the con?
Same as it ever was.
Nice going with the 25-year-old reference. Well done.
That's my specialty. So here in our vast boxing cathedral, somewhere high up in the darkness above the boxing ring, a single microphone descends.
Ladies and gentlemen, we present our title bout for the evening. In this corner, weighing in at 114 pounds, by way of the Sisters of Our Lady of the Immaculate Right Cross, with a record of 23-1, with 15 knockouts, 3 TKOs, 2 decisions, 3 conversions, and 1 exorcism. The High Priestess of Penance, the Pounding Penguin, the Assassin of the Passion, the Stinging Nun, and the Roman Catholic Wrecking Ball. From Dublin, Ireland, Sister Mary Catherine, the Habit Breaker. And in this corner, weighing in at an even 82 pounds, by way of the Order of St. Adelaide of Perpetual Confrontation, with a record of 66-6, with 1 disqualification for using a ruler. The Vatican Vixen, the Pontiff's Pitbull, the original sinner, the homicidal bride of Christ, the assaulter from the altar, the Undertaker, and the Mother Superior of Kicking Posterior. From Mexico City, Sister Maria Teresa Garcia Graciela Aguilera Delgado Francisco Diego Roy Winigo Montoya Zapata Paquito El Guapo Abuelita de la Boom Boom Mendoza. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Now let's get ready to rumble. We're going to do a song we have not done in about a year because it's for a specific holiday.
And that's our polite way of saying we're probably going to screw this up.
That's the subtweet part of my announcement. This is a song for Mother's Day. Anybody out there ever had a mother? This is just for those people then.
Your big day is almost come, and this one is for you, Mom. Thanks for having intercourse with Dad. Without a condom, sponge your IUD. Your lack of objection to sex without protection made a sperm and egg turn into me. You gave me life, love, a home, and food and clothing every day. I gave you stretch marks and extra weight that never quite went away. We mean it. Thanks for having intercourse with Dad. The carnal act that brought me here to you. I don't know if it was varied or merely missionary, but it sure was good for me. Was it for you? I'm elated that you made it. Your love you consummated. You got inseminated, then waited and inflated. Inside you I gestated until from your womb I cascaded. Thank you, Mom, for being my dad. Autobiographical love songs.
We say this every year, we never do it. This is the year we really, well, it's too late for this year, but for next year, how awesome would it be to open up like one of those Hallmark cards with the musical microchip in it? Have that song coming out?
Maybe like one of those 3D cards. Oh, just a heart, a lovely heart. You people are sick. Yeah, this song is, it's a little bit of a change of pace for us, a little break from the type of song we usually do. We think you'll enjoy it all the same.
Because we're risk takers, Storm.
We were pioneers of risk.
Isn't that a panel tomorrow?
It is. It is.
This is another one from the new album. This is called Right Here With You.
Last night I watched you sleeping. Tenderly I cried, because there was no keeping down the feeling deep inside. I knew that I was blessed to be right there next to you. Mere words could not express it, how the love that pulled me through.
You were a vision, almost holy, as my teardrops kissed your head. Your eyes, they opened slowly. You looked at me and said, who are you? How did you get into my room? Get out, go away, what the hell? I'm calling the cops, so I gotta get the hell out of here. Don't you ever come back. so as we mentioned, we had this Kickstarter campaign, and one of the things that has, one of the other things that this Kickstarter campaign has funded is, we're very excited about this, a soundboard app for RPG games. Which was
that idea was born right up the street.
Yeah, it was born at PAX Prime a number of years ago, where we got to be the sort of musical bards for the live D&D session they had a number of years ago.
Yeah, Acquisitions Inc.
So this is one sample of what the 75 plus songs you'll get with that app whenever we get the hell around to finishing writing the other 74. Critical hit, how you like that shit? Maybe that's what you are, another critical hit. So, even if you didn't back the Kickstarter, eventually that will be released to the general public, so nerds, get on that shit. That song actually ties in nicely with an ongoing project we have had. We call it our one-sentence songs. We think you'll get the idea pretty much.
We're sort of music and comedy nerds. We like to dissect things. And basically the assignment is, how can you say all there is to say in as short a time as possible? So these songs demonstrate that. Sure hope that was a raisin.
See, I love that song because it asks more questions than it answers.
It's a little puzzle box.
Do you recall? We used to have it all. But now you're gone and all I'm left with is your memory and chlamydia.
That one leaves slightly less to the imagination.
Yeah. Equally autobiographical love song. I just can't seem to find the words to tell you just how much you mean to me. So forget it. Not all of this show is for you people. We got a little time, but I mention this because we realized, having done this project for a long time, that the science of writing as short songs as possible, saying as much as possible, has already been explored in the science of the commercial jingle. So, we wrote a bunch. We weren't asked to write them, nor have we received any response from the companies for whom we've written them. So, we wrote them anyway.
Yeah, so if you hear one of these and you have a company and you're looking for a jingle, come up to us after the show and we'll strip the current companies right out of their folder.
When you're done with your Domino's pizza, eat the box because it tastes the same. Right hand red, left leg blue. I love to play this game with you. I just hope you can feel my boner twister.
Takers for either of the first two? No? Okay. Someday.
Let me see. Let's try... Oh, let's do this. If you want to turn your daddy parts orange, eat some Cheetos and watch some porn.
A lot of folks checking their pants right now.
Oh, this is a good one. Where do white people go to eat SpaghettiOs Olive Garden? Where the breadsticks are free and the chef's Boyardee Olive Garden. Okay, let's do this one. Let's do the big rock finish for a commercial chunk.
I think this one has actually moved some product for them. I believe that.
I swear to God.
I believe that.
It's 4 in the morning, you sneak out of bed and tiptoe down the stair. Go to the kitchen, leave off the light, the Pillsbury cookie dough is waiting there. Yeah, you open the door, take the tube in your hand, get the scissors down from the shelf. Peel back the label, give it a squeeze, you're gonna eat the whole thing all by yourself. There's nothing better than a whole damn tube of raw cookie dough.
Go on and eat it all.
Don't slice it, don't cook it, don't serve it, don't share it.
Go on and eat it all.
Hide the wrapper at the bottom of the trash and go back up to bed,
Filled with shame and cookie dough from Pillsbury.
All right, the time has come to change the game, Storm.
I think you're right.
And I'm going to change the game by flipping this switch right here.
'Cause that's how games are changed. With switches. This is better if we all sing the Imperial March as it comes down.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay, you know, oh yeah, well, we're committed to it, man. We're playing through the rest of the fucking album now. We got the Throne Room March, we got Leia's theme coming, we got end credits.
Yum Nub. We got Yum Nub.
Yeah, we're going all the way through Jedi on this one. No, we are changing the game, in fact, not through recreations of the Star Wars soundtrack, though that would be awesome. We are changing the game because we are not just entertainers, we are educators.
We're edutainers.
We are. So, we would like to raise your collective consciousness by showing you all the best 36 seconds on the internet.
But this is powerful stuff. So we don't want to rush right into it. To get you there, we're going to start with the second best 6 seconds on the internet.
All right,
Pretty great.
that's pretty good. Let's watch that again. You can go ahead and leave the stage lights off. The video is more important than we are here. Let's watch that one more time.
At half speed, twice as funny.
So the elements to this video are extremely simple. Singer-songwriter Jonathan Colton walks through a doorway. Yeah, you know what? No, you don't need to scream for him. You just walk through a fucking door.
I hug a stuffed monkey at him and shout, "Monkey."
Jonathan immediately drops to the ground, and I laugh like a complete goober off stage.
In and of itself, it's terrific and bears up to high repeat. Monkey.
So then the question is, why we label this only second best? What is preventing this from being the best 36 seconds on the internet? Well, beyond the fact that it's only 6 seconds long. There's other scientific reasons why that is so, and we are here to explain exactly what those are.
Science tells us that there are critical elements that go into the most successful internet videos. This video demonstrates 2 of them. 1, cute animals. Number 2, falling down. Science also tells us, however, that there is one critical element missing, and that is music.
That's right, in all of the best viral internet videos, music is what ties together these other 2 elements and provides overall general forward momentum. Let's take a look at a few examples.
I love we get to rickroll the audience every night. Name of science.
Science!
We all know what cover band that is. Now, don't get us wrong, there are really terrific and powerful videos where any 2 of these categories intersect. For example, music and falling down.
Or cute animals and music.
And cute animals falling down. As terrific as all of those videos are, and they are all terrific, they still don't qualify to even be in the running to be the best 36 seconds on the internet.
No, it's true. There is just a small population that unite all of these elements together. And of that population, there is only one video living in the very epicenter of this Venn diagram, creating a distillation of everything that is good and fine about the internet.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is that video.
By the way, we don't mean to imply we made that video if you want to see that. And trust us when we tell you, it is just as funny the 174th time. Run a YouTube search for Kitty Corliss.
Do we have use for the screen anymore, Paul?
No, you may raise the screen.
Shields up!
My favorite part is the next time you all go to like just like a Broadway show or something, a movie where the old theater style, they got the curtain raising and just start, everybody's just gonna look at you like you're a fucking idiot.
Now I wish I had like $100,000 so I could just send you all to a Broadway show at the same time. good idea.
So, of all of our autobiographical love songs, this is our autobiographicaliest one.
We are the opening band. We are here to do 5 or 6 or 7 songs. Don't go too long and get the hell off the stage. We are the opening band. We're probably not the band you came to see tonight, but it's alright, cause soon we'll go away. And we're wondering just where the hell's the sound guy? He disappeared just after we got up here. He's probably behind the building, rolling up a fatty, and he'll be gone until our last song. We got the VW van. I had to sell the new Star Wars figure that I had and asked my dad to go sign for the loan. We don't got a whole lot of fans. Nobody asked for more autograph, and sad to say, as of today, no panties have been thrown. And we're wondering if this was worth the drive here. We spent 6 hours in traffic on the highway for $50 and half price on the cheese fries and free Miller Lite on tap. Who can drink that crap? My cousin lives in town and we'll be crashing at his place unless his girlfriend's home from college and she's staying for the weekend. And if she is, then we will have to go and park the van behind the IHOP by the turnpike, and we'll sleep in the back seat. And we're wondering just where the headline act is. They're probably getting wasted in the green room, and they don't give a rat's ass who we are. So when they start to play a beer, we're gonna drink all their beer. We're not the opening band. We hope that all of you sign up on our mailing list and buy our disc and t-shirts in black and gray. We are the opening band, and we only got about 25 more minutes left. That's all we get to blow your ass away. We are the opening band. We are the opening band. Hello. 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 That's my Lady Gaga.
I forgot as we were going into the third verse of that song that Pat's sitting up there like fucking Emperor Palpatine. And to shoot lightning out of his fingertips at us or something. We have time for a couple more songs because it's a 2-show night. Unfortunately, we are going without an intermission. So as soon as we are done, Pat Rothfuss is going to go right from up there to right down here. And he will be awesome at you for approximately an hour. Excuse me. Immediately following the show, well, before I forget to mention this, we have our CDs and USB drives and download cards and whatnot for sale in the back of the room. Also, if you would like to meet Pat and or us to sign some things, that'll be happening upstairs in the bar area, sort of in this, if you go back to the left, back and to the left, go back and to the left, back. Yeah. If you go up in the bar area, we'll be up there and we'll be happy to say hi and sign things that you put in front of us. And we thank you all for coming out. We know you have lots of choices here at the con. There's stare at all the boobies activity that's happening. There's the
5-hour dinner.
5-hour dinner, followed immediately by a 3-hour post-dinner dinner. But no, we do thank you for choosing the Pat Rothfuss, Paul, and Stormstar. So thank you on our behalf. We're going to do another new song from the upcoming album. It is another slight change of pace for us, in that it is a country and western song, because you guys look like you really dig the country and western songs.
Wow, that was the most enthusiastic boy howdy I've ever heard.
The song is called You Left Me.
That's the correct response.
We just evolved into a sudden analog subreddit here. Analog subreddit is my Devo cover band. Thanks for the pity applause.
Which is our other
Paul Storm cover band.
The only other thing we have to say about this song is wait for it.
You left me, you left me. Oh, you up and left me, and nothing feels right anymore. It was your right, babe, I know, but still it hurt to see you go when you left me and walked right out that door. Too many years, too many beers, too many tears that you shed. I lied and I cheated and dared you to walk away. You had enough. You packed your stuff. You called my bluff when you said that you were done being mistreated and you were leaving me today. You told me you were taking half of everything with you. Then you lifted that axe and swung downward and through. And you left me, you left me. Oh, you up and left me, and nothing feels right anymore. It was your right, babe, I know, but still it hurt to see you go when you left me and walked right out that door. Now I'm out of my head, and my poor heart is broken. I'm all inside out, and the carpet is soaking. I never thought that this trial separation would involve quite so much amputation. You were neglected and dejected. Now I'm bisected and blue. I gotta give you a hand, babe, 'cause the last laugh is on me. Now I'm grieving 'cause you're leaving after cleaving me in two. Now I'm half of the man, babe, I once used to be. The heartache and the hurting that I can't keep inside are like the blood, guts, and organs that I can't keep inside. Since you left me, you left me. Oh, you up and left me, and nothing feels right anymore. It was your right, babe, I know, but still it hurt to see you go when you left me and walked right out that door. I'm too weak now to fight it. The battle's just too one-sided. Since you left me and walked right out that door. Are you ready now, Seattle, for an Irish drinking song? This one is a sing-along. It's another new one, gonna be on our next album. We hope that you get the gist of it and sing along eventually.
Sort of self-gisting.
I don't know what cover band that is, but
It's just a band.
yeah, it's just a band. Thank you all again for coming out. And here is our traditional Irish drinking song sung by a Scotch Englishman and a Italian half-Jew.
Married to a Scotch Irishman.
Though now I live across the sea, me thoughts they often roam back to the hills and valleys of me old ancestral home. Me mother's eyes, me sister's laugh, the games we used to play, and the song me father taught me, I remember to this day. And he sang something, 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 la da 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 da, la da da dee da da, something, something, la da da, la da da, oh, something, something, la da da da.
One day around the forest glen, a wandering I did go. Very Irish of you. I came upon a leprechaun, grabbed him by his toes.
Seems like a weird fetish, but okay. I'm with you so far.
It's an Irish thing.
For those of you unclear, the way to catch a leprechaun is either to steal his lucky charms or grab him by a single toe.
One or the other. If you do both, bad scene. And he said, "Dear boy, release me, and I'll be your amigo." Did he too Irish for you?
Did he say it just like that?
You have to do it like that, or you wouldn't like the leprechaun.
I believe that was actually really a very authentic Irish accent. I'm afraid it may have been a little too subtle for some of us here.
All right, I'll dumb it down a little bit.
Thank you. I would appreciate it.
Sure, my fellow Irishman. And he said, "Dear boy, Irishman, and I'll be your amigo."
Oh, it's just like the old country.
Potatoes.
So very cute potatoes.
And sing
Too soon, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm not going to tell that cover band joke.
You just effectively did.
Yeah.
So.
And sing to thee the secrets of the Celts in days of old.
My brain just graphing.
I stole it from Aha. And he sang something, 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 la da 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 da, la da 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 da, something, something, la da da, oh, something, something, la da da da.
One night when langers I did spy a brasser of crimson hair. She fancied dogging, so we bogged the skinnet then and there. And I looked all the shit up on the internet. I don't know what I'm saying.
But everything is true.
I believe I'm saying marriage vows, maybe. Her scanger demo did a babs, shemazel latty tat.
I understood that.
Yeah. Which is my Creed cover band. Yeah, it's also my Pearl Jam cover band. Ooh, that was too soon, yeah. Got a little close to the flannel-covered mark on that one. Which is my Nirvana cover band. Done poking it with bees' nests. Schmuzzle that tat. fucking matter where I left off? Grand Cake Norigomi teeth, the saints they reeled the spat. And they sang something, 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 la da 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 da, la da 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 da, something, something, la da da. Oh, something, something, la da da da.
These days I'm just going to go straight through the stage. I love to breathe the morning air, I love a pint of plain.
I love to court the ladies fair, Killarney to Coleraine. But most of all I love to hear me father's favourite song. Especially I love when everybody sings along. Alright, it's your chance to shine, Seattle. In case you don't have it yet, we're going to speak each line to you. You'll sing it after we speak it. It goes something like this. Something, 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 la da 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 da. You sing.
Something, 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 la da 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 da. La da da dee da da da, something, something, la da da.
La da da dee da da, something, something, la da da.
With la da da.
No. Let me get that. La da da da. Is that so fucking hard? Oh, something, something, la da 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 da. Here we go! Something, 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 la da 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 da. La da 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 da, something, something, la da da. La da 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 da. Oh, something, something, la da da. Oh, my half step! Something, 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 la da 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 da. La da 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 da, something, something, la da da. Very little ado, please welcome to the stage, Pat Rothfuss.
Just a little bit, because the dimmer it is, the prettier I am. Yeah, oh, I get to see y'all. I like that. Sorry, that came out sounding a little creepy than I meant to do. Don't you look at me. Wow, it really does look kind of intimidating back there. But what's the fun of mocking them if they're not up there to react? So, you guys couldn't get tickets to Night Vale either, could you?
Screw Night Vale!
Step carefully. So, who's heard the news? What? Don't get freaked out yet. because I've been traveling from like city to city to city, I haven't been home in about 10 days, a news story broke because I wrote a story. And then, I tried to write a story actually. And then it wouldn't work as a story. It got longer than a story, and then it was a novelette, and then it was a novella, and then it was longer than a novella, because that's what I do, apparently. And so now, it was about Ari. It was a story about Ari, and it ended up being kind of too long to put in an anthology, and I didn't know what to do with it, but I needed to finish it. And if you're not writers, you might not get this, like why a person would need to finish a story even if you couldn't put it in an anthology. It's sort of like you can't stop halfway through sex. You know? I mean, not just that it's impolite. But, you know, it's just, it's something not possible about it. And so I finished this thing, and then I showed it, and it turned out kind of strange, kind of like Ari, kind of a very different sort of story. And then I showed it to my agent just to say, I've been writing even though it's kind of useless. And he showed it to my editor at DAW, and she's gonna publish it. So if you see the news and it says something like, Book 3, published in November, it's not. I mean, technically, it will be a book. It will, in some ways, be like the third book set in this world, but it's not Book 3, okay? So when you see that kind of crop up in Facebook, be aware, right? Be aware. And feel free to, like, spread the proper information among the frothier people out there. So, what am I going to read here? Because I'm not Neil Gaiman. Sorry. It's hard for me to read like a chapter or like a sizable chunk out of something that I do. Because even my short stories end up being kind of long. So instead, when I do readings here, I tend to bring out some of my humor writing instead. I wrote an advice column for about 10 years. Well, actually I wrote an advice column for about 2 weeks. And then it turned into a humor column. Because I found out really quickly that an advice column is of real limited interest to everyone. Because if you write in asking for advice, and then I give you advice, you're like, well, you might or you might not like it. Probably not, but it's good advice, right? And a few other people are like a little interested in kind of a voyeuristic way. And that's it. Whereas if you write in asking for advice and then I make fun of you, everybody is interested except you. And so like, mathematically, it's much better writing. And I realized that really early on. So I have some of those columns with me. From the dark times before I was published and known as a novelist. I also have some poems that primarily I bring along to prove to people that I do not hate poets. You know, people really get their nose out of joint. They're like, why do you hate poets so much? Why do you hate poetry? And I'm like, I only hate some poets. I only hate certain types of poetry. Those poems mostly have the benefit of being short. But I'm going to throw it open to you. We've got humor columns. We've got... Now, would you like... I got some things a little more anecdotal, sort of like more feels. What do we want? Do we want humor? Do we want advice? Do we want feels? Yes! Somebody was like, yes! And I don't know if that means you want all of them. What do I have that has feels? Feels and humor. not a real advice column. And so they started throwing me softball questions. You know, they kind of lay something out there and let me have a big frothy screed about it. And, but when I was looking through and printing out a new printout for this recent set of shows, I found a column that I'd forgotten about. And it was somebody that wrote in about 5 years in, and she actually asked me for a real thing. It's got some feels, it's got some genuine advice. And I remember it being kind of funny, although like I've written this 10 years ago. You wanna try that?
Yeah!
Okay.
How about for free?
No, still in process. I don't let it out until I'm sure of it. Although I have a little of an unpublished something that I could do after this. All right, we got the docket set. So, here's the letter that was written in. Dear Pat, I've got a question for you. My friend thinks I'm crazy for writing to you about something serious, but I've noticed over the years that there's some surprisingly good advice hidden in all of your funny bullshit. Anyway, here goes nothing. Please don't let me down. No pressure there. Recently, I met a cool guy, and it's getting to the point where nakedness is going to start happening. That's not the problem. I'm ready for some naked time with this guy. Very ready. The problem is I've got scars. About a dozen scars across my arms and legs. Don't ask how I got them. It's a long story. I'm not horrible to look at. I'm young, athletic, pretty, with scars. But even if he doesn't get weird when he sees them, he's bound to ask me where they came from. And in the past, when I've told people the truth, they've been less than cool about it. I got used to keeping them covered up. Thank God we live in Wisconsin, where we pretty much have to wear pants and long sleeves about 8 months out of the year. But lately I find myself wishing I could wear a skirt or a t-shirt without having to worry about answering the question. So here's your chance, big guy. What should I do? And it's signed, someone cautious about relationship stuff, which acronyms down to scars. So like this letter got sent in and I'm like, Jesus Christ. You know, I've been writing ridiculous bullshit for 5 years and then this, and I can't ignore it. So I jumped in. Well, Scars, you've exposed my terrible secret. I do occasionally try to hide a little worthwhile advice in with all the funny bullshit. The technical breakdown for the column is usually 50% ridiculous bullshit, 20% megalomania, 10% rage, 8% false humility, 7% pimping for my sponsors, and 3% good advice. The remaining 2% usually consists of puns, grammatical errors, bad Latin, clown sex, and fresh cilantro. Now it seems that you've really got two different questions here. The first is, how do I successfully get naked with this guy? And the second is, how can I deal with people being nosy assholes? Let's deal with this last question first, shall we? The truth is, everyone has a few things that they've done in the past that are embarrassing, highly personal, or just plain hard to explain. Usually, those closet skeletons are only revealed to family and close friends. However, when these experiences leave scars, people tend to ask about them while trying to make small talk, not realizing what they're actually doing is prying into your personal business. Believe it or not, you've come to the right guy for scar advice. I've got a few notable scars myself, and back when they were new, people asked me about them. And being an honest young fellow by nature, I told them the truth. The trouble was, the truth freaked them out. You see, they didn't want to hear my dark personal secrets. They were trying and failing to make polite conversation. So here's how I deal with the question. Plan A, the polite brush off. Generally, when somebody asks me, dude, where'd you get that scar? I know that they don't mean any harm. So I don't like to respond with a rude brush off like, none of your damn business. Instead, I say something like, it's a long story. I'll tell you sometime if you're really interested. Now, anyone who isn't socially retarded can recognize this for what it is. It's a polite brush off. It's a gentle hint that you've put one foot into conversational quicksand. And anyone with a little common sense knows to back off. Unfortunately, statistics show that about 50% of the people in America today are of below average intelligence. That means a lot of people, you got that in stages. That means a lot of people won't get the hint. Hence the need for Plan B. Lie, lie, lie. Lying gets a bad rap these days, but really, lies are the all-important social grease that keeps society's real wheels running smoothly. Think about it. When the girl behind the counter at the coffee shop asks you, "How's your day?" you don't tell the truth. You don't say, "I'm worried because I just peed blood in your bathroom." You don't say, "I woke up this morning naked in a cornfield with a sock monkey jammed in my ass." That's personal stuff. You don't want to hear it. And generally speaking, you don't want to share with a stranger. So when somebody asks you, "How's your day?" you say, "Fine." Of course. Maybe it's not completely true, but that doesn't matter. You're not having a heart-to-heart. You're making social noise, like birds whistling back and forth with each other. The same holds true if you're having a conversation with somebody who accidentally touches on a subject you don't want to talk about. Your scars, your recent divorce, pregnancy, alien abduction, or shrine to Allison Hannigan. Sweet, sweet Allison Hannigan. I remember, I had a little bit of a shrine. I mean, yeah, shrine. Now, unless you're an accomplished bullshitter like myself, I recommend that you pick your lie ahead of time. You can go with the classic lie, something realistic that you're hoping they'll believe. These can include, "I was in a car wreck," "I jumped through a sliding glass door," "I was run over by a thresher," that sort of thing. The problem is, plausible lies sound like cool stories, which can lead to people asking more questions, which means you might be forced to ad-lib additional lies, which generally never goes well. Also, straight up lying to folks can lead to lost friends, hurt feelings, and war in Iraq. Oh. Yeah, you can tell when I wrote this. That's why I generally prefer the more outrageous, "I'm lying right to your face" style of lie. When a casual acquaintance asks me about my scars, I usually tell them that I was attacked by pirates, or that I was stabbed by an orc while trying to destroy the One Ring, or that as a child I was assaulted by the hideous devil clown that lives up under the rafters of my parents' attic. Here's the key. Make it obvious that you're lying. Blindingly obvious. That way, all but the most glaringly stupid people take the hint, laugh it off, and back the fuck out of your personal business. It works like a charm. Well, damn, it looks like we're out of space, and I haven't managed to answer your second question. You see, this is why I usually skimp on the good advice scars. It takes up too much space. And so I actually jumped over, this was a 2-week column. Yeah, I remember that now. You realize that I do not usually remember writing these columns. I had problems with deadlines even back then. The problem being it was like a 600-word column for the paper that was going to be published on Thursday. And I was supposed to have my stuff in around 7 o'clock on Wednesday night so they could lay it out and send it to the printer. And we usually get it into them around 2 o'clock in the morning. That's when I would get it to my illustrator, right? And so he could quick draw me a picture, and then, yeah, I was not popular in the newspaper. Here's the second piece of advice. I'm sorry about constantly sniffling at you. I'm sick as a dog, and I am so full. Yeah, oh, that's very kind of you. You feel sympathy to me. It's my own damn fault. I should not have manhandled all those people at the last show. I am so full of like caffeine and cold drugs and so That's why I needed them to dim the house light. My pupils are like dimes right now. I could lift up a fucking truck. Dear Twitter. Part 2. Ultimately, Scars is asking a question most of us will have to deal with at some point. How do we deal with our naked bodies? Perhaps more to the point, how do we deal with other people dealing with our naked bodies? In our attractiveness-obsessed culture, it's easy to get freaked out at the thought of somebody looking at you all naked. One person gets to be the hottest, and, unfortunately for y'all, that person is me. Seriously, it's like I'm chiseled out of a block of raw, sexy manliness. My beard is full and majestic. My lips sensual and alluring. My hair is like a flock of goats that appear from Mount Gilead. For those of you that are fans of the Song of Solomon. And my ass! Don't get me started on my ass. Sculptors weep, ladies swoon. Guys usually pretend to ignore it, but later they lie awake, questioning their sexuality. Don't feel weird, guys. Everyone checks it out. Nuns, lesbians, pro-life fundamentalist Republicans. I was a very angry person in college. I would kind of lash out blindly. But you see, my girlfriend has to wear a welding mask when we do it, lest the full, unbridled majesty of my naked ass cook her brain like a toad thrown into a volcano. Every part of me radiates this sort of raw animal magnetism. If a truck ran me over and all my organs gooshed out, people standing nearby would say, "That's the sexiest dwarf I've ever seen." What were we talking about again? Oh, right. Well, everybody, before we start talking about how you can deal with having somebody look at your flawed, inferior bodies, let's list a few reasons as to why you should settle down and not worry so damn much in the first place. The other person is probably nervous too. Ever since the days of you show me yours and I'll show you mine, people tend to get naked in pairs. All of us, well, I mean all of you, have some part of your body that you're less than entirely happy with. Be it a birthmark, our weight, our shape, coloring, excessive or irregular furriness, whatever. It means that while you're thinking, I hope he isn't freaked out by my scars, chances are he's thinking, I hope she isn't weirded out by the Bert and Ernie tattoo on my nutsack. I would like to apologize for my use of the word nutsack. Nutsack. This is why it's really important to not just print a bunch of shit off before you do a show, just in case any of you are wondering for the future. Maybe read your own material before you decide to share it with a room full of people who are going to judge you and then walk away talking about it to their friends. Love is blind. Chances are, Scars, that if you like somebody well enough to agree to some mutual nudity, and there's any degree of respect involved, then a few oddities in your personal appearance shouldn't be that important. If you're in a relationship with someone and they freak out about some aspect of your appearance, then they're an asshole. And that means that they should go spend a lot of time fucking off and not fucking you. And while love is blind, lust is usually pretty nearsighted. And so maybe the person you're with isn't your one and only all-time biggest forever love. That's okay. Maybe they're just friendly, frolicsome, and looking for a romp. The fact still remains that you're getting naked with them. And that means the prime form of entertainment isn't going to be a detailed visual inspection. The focus will quickly turn into activities involving everyone's favorite entropic force, friction. There are different strokes for different folks. Tried as it might sound, the truth is this. Everyone finds different things attractive. Maybe your guy digs on scars. Maybe you have a thing for Bert and Ernie. Seriously though, Scars, If he's a fling, you could try all sorts of things to avoid potential weirdness on his part. You could keep the lights low, you could get undressed under the covers, you could wear all over clown makeup and claim you have some sort of fetish. Or you could be upfront with him. You strip down, point to your sexy, scarred up self and say, here it is, take it or leave it. But if this guy is nice and you want to have more than just a pleasant frictive tussle, you might want to tell him the long story. If he's worth keeping, he'll understand. If he gets the Wiggins and is all insensitive, then he wasn't good enough for you in the first place. Trust me.
Yeah.
Let me see, I'll do it on this side.
Yeah.
Can you guys see it? Okay. Who's seen The Princess and Mr. Whiffle before? This is a story I told my girlfriend before bed once. And it turned up so messed up that I had to write it down. And then after I was published, somebody came to me and said, "So you got anything else you ever kind of wanted to do, a pet project or something?" And I said, "Well, I've got kind of a fucked up, not really for kids story." And they said, "Sure." And I went, "Did I just sell a book?" And that was one of the weirdest experiences, one of the weirdest mental bumps of this whole getting published process. Not the initial publication, it was that email conversation. It's like, "Do you got a thing?" It's like, "Yeah, I got kind of a thing." "Okay. Can I give you money for that?" "Yeah, sure." I'm like, "Oh my God, is that how it works now?" Okay, I'm going to do it on this side. Once upon a time, whoop shit. I've gotta be running a fever of 101 right now. That's okay, I'm having a great time. Once upon a time, there was a princess who lived in the Marzipan castle. She lived there all alone. Except for Mr. Whiffle, who didn't count. You guys are into this. Who didn't count because he was only a teddy bear. And the thing under the bed. I love that, but it will take like an hour to read the whole story. Mr. Whiffle was the princess's best friend. They spent all their time together and had many fabulous adventures. They found buried treasure by the old stump. They defeated the Black Duke's rebellion at the Battle of Bainbridge. Victory came at a great price. The princess was sore wounded, and Sir Whiffle was forced to take terrible revenge. They fought Greenbeard the pirate, and defeated him. Yeah, I'll take that. Though in the heat of battle, Mr. Whiffle was nearly drowned. And was only saved due to the princess's quick thinking. But when her daytime adventures were over, the princess always returned to the Marzipan castle. After she had dinner and washed her face, she and Mr. Whiffle went to bed. But they were not alone. Let's bring the house lights all the way down. Can we do that? Let's get it as dark as we can get it. The princess had never seen the thing under the bed because it didn't like the lights. During the daytime, when the bright sun was out, it hid in the deep shadows under the bed. It even hid at night when the lamps were lit. That's why the princess always kept a candle burning. But some nights, when it was stormy out, there were drafts in her room. And then the thing didn't need to hide anymore. The princess had never seen the thing, but she knew what it was like. It had great, wide eyes that could see in the dark, and a great, wide mouth for tasting things. It had thin, flat lips, and a wide, flat tongue. Its skin was greenish, grayish, brownish, and the princess thought that it was prickly like a nettle, or scaly like a fish, or slimy like a frog, but it was actually soft like velvet, so the thing never made any noise at all when it moved. The princess knew that it had great big hands with great long fingers. And its long, long arms had an extra elbow, so it could reach out from under the bed. Reach up. Then bend to reach the top of the bed. Isn't this every bad thing from when you were a child? Tickle the princess silly. One day, a package arrived for the princess. The princess loved the kitten. She and Mr. Whiffle spent a long time trying to decide what his name should be. The princess wanted to call him Mr. Mutton Chop because of how he smelled. Mr. Whiffle wanted to call him Rawlock because of his pointy, pointy claws. They compromised by calling him M.M., or Emmy for short. But then Emmy got lost. He wasn't in their treasure mine, or in the old cave. Mr. Whiffle suggested they look in the river, but Emmy wasn't there either. They knew he couldn't get over the wall, or past the gate. They looked everywhere, but they still hadn't found Emmy by dinner time. That night, the princess couldn't sleep. Thinking about her lost kitten made her tummy hurt. Even worse, her candle was short. And the night was long. And her tummy hurt. Then the princess heard a noise from under the bed. She knew it couldn't be the thing because it never made any noise, except sometimes a soft, velvety rustle. The noise sounded familiar to the princess. It was like the sound an animal would make if it wanted to cry out, but it was muffled and quiet. Then the noise stopped, and the princess heard a soft, velvety sound, like something was reaching and bending, reaching and bending. Then something wet and warm fell on her face. Drip, drip, drip. Then Mother Moon came out from behind a cloud, and the princess saw what the thing was holding. to share and be friends. He was already friends with Emmy. They had been playing under the bed all day. Emmy had been trying to call to the princess, but he couldn't. She'd been eating marzipan with the thing, and her little kitten mouth was all gummed up. When she tried to mew, it came out. But now they were together again, and now that the princess had met the thing, she wasn't scared anymore. And so the princess ate them. And there was nothing left but sticky bones. So she and Mr. Wiffle made a fort out of them. And had tea. When you're trying to sleep tonight, I hope all of you think of Mr. Wiffle's cold button eyes staring at you. Now, I hope that those of you who know me would trust that I would never engage in anything so cheap and tawdry as a twist ending. Because that's bullshit storytelling, and I don't cut corners. This is a story that you perhaps, on your first time through, have not done your due diligence in. Once upon a time, there was a princess who lived in a marzipan castle. She lived there all alone. There you go. This is a story that, in some ways, you cannot understand properly until you've read it a second time. This is the beginning of what I think of as the Mrs. Moo subplot. If you see, there's Mr. Wiffle, and he's kind of like making a little time with Mrs. Moo. And then she kind of crops up through the rest of the story. It's not my fault if you're not paying proper attention. Yeah, there's Mrs. Moo up there, dressed up. Now, it's understandable that you would misread this because this has a lot of the tropes of a children's story. There's repetition. Look, dude is legging it. Also, look at how he's dressed, right? Yes, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing again, but suffice to say that there is plenty in here. Now, what usually happens, they used to invite me to talk at high schools, and they don't anymore. But I would do this if there was an AV setup, and what would happen is, as any of you have done any public speaking, you know when somebody in the audience talks, no matter how quiet it is, you can hear them. And so, at different points in the story, people figure out that something weird is going on. And for some people, there's Mrs. Moo again. She wanted to call him Mr. Mutton Chop because of how he smelled. This was never a pet. We got stuff here. But what happens, at this point, I heard somebody in the audience go, "There's a lot of bones in this fridge." And I'm like, I don't care what grades that kid gets, that is a future leader of America. That is somebody who's smart enough to like not take things at face value. And here you've just gotta be like willfully ignoring like what's really going on here in this story. So yeah, this is fun. We actually came out with a sequel a couple of months ago where the princess gets a little brother, which is the proper response. Okay, you can kill the overhead there. You guys are way more together than last night's crowd. They tried to do that when I put it up, and it was a mess. And their timing was bad, their pitch control was way off. Okay, let's see what time I've got here. I've got about 20 minutes left. Sorry. The harsh mathematics of the schedule here. Who's heard the guinea pig story?
Tell it.
I think I'm going to do the guinea pig story.
Read it.
Ultimate chalupa. How to buy pants. Yeah, here it is. So, this is another one of the humor columns that I wrote back in the day. I've got 20 minutes. I told you I would read another little thing here. Something unpublished. This is, I was trying to write a novella, which is supposed to be 14,000 words. And it hit about 60, and I forced myself to stop. You might see this as a novel. It's set in Modig, a place that you haven't seen yet, and it follows the story of one of the mythic figures of the world, Laniel. Do you want this? Yeah! Maybe we'll have time for both. Right now, the standing awful title of this is The Tale of Laniel Young Again. You all well know of Laniel, of all her stories, all her names, called Mother, called Young Again, called Laniel Laughing, Laniel Alone. You've heard the 100 tales of her, of those she hunted, those she helped, the blood she spilled, the gods she did defy, of how she held the world within her eye. But sit and listen, for I will sing a rarer song, the song that comes before, of when she had no name but one name, simple as a seed. Thus all of us begin, and thus she was, mere Laniel. Prologue, the whole story. That should be my autobiography. Once, years and miles away, there was a girl who loved a boy. That by itself was nothing new or unexpected. Laniel had known Tam since before she could braid her own hair. Early on, they played together. Later, when they were old enough to realize that they belonged to the endlessly warring tribes of boy and girl, she called him names, and he threw rotten apples at her. During one of the many truces that punctuated their endless war, they slipped outside the palisade and stripped naked in the relative privacy of a small hollow among the tall stone bluffs. It was there, sunlight filtering through the trees, that they compared their differences. As neither of them were yet 8 years old, they were forced to draw their own conclusions. Tam had an extra appendage, which was convenient as he could piss while standing. This he demonstrated, and Laniel was appropriately impressed. On the other hand, Tam confessed that his fruits were something of a liability when wrestling with the other children. In the end, they decided that Laniel seemed to have come off better in the deal, as she had no fruits and was taller than Tam by nearly half a hand. Years later, during another truce, they kissed. They'd kissed before, of course, mothers and fathers and relatives as the occasion demanded. But they knew there were other kinds of kissing, kissing of the sort that happened in stories, kissing of the sort that happened in the civil house. So they kissed, and while it was interesting, they agreed that they couldn't see what all the fuss was about. Laniel suggested that they didn't know the proper way of it, and Tam agreed. Soon afterward, they decided that they couldn't stand the sight of one another. Sometime after that, they kissed again and found the experience much more to their liking. They lived deep in the endless ancient trees of southern Modag. Their town was called Whittle, and it rested in the western wilds of Lord Baranth's stead. It wasn't an important city like Comicon or large. It wasn't any sort of city at all, really, hardly even a large town. In fact, there were only two things that kept Whittle from being a backward village with nothing to offer its lord but barley corn and leather. The first was their tall god. He was strong and tall and white and wise. The second thing was the Aryan River. The Aryan was too rocky and wild for boats or barges, but where it bent to brush the northern edge of town, it was strong and steady. It poured over the great wooden wheel that worked the bellows and gearage in the rinnery. Further on, it turned 3 smaller wheels attached to the old stone mill. Spools of thread came to Whittle and were woven into sheets of silk. Coal and lime and bars of iron came into town and were transformed into ingots of steel. 3 times a year, Lord Baranth himself came through Whittle with gifts of cloth and wine and spice. He brought silver for their bells and salt to last them through the winter. When he left, he took silk and rin and flour and armor, leather and fur, as was his rightful due. He was pleased with this arrangement, and as he was generous with the salt and spoke courteously to their gods, his subjects liked him well enough. So the town flourished. There were lean years, but even the leanest of these was not so bad. And in the good years, the children were fat, and everyone had enough to share and lay a little bit aside. This was the town where Laniel and Tam grew up. Nothing near a city, nothing like Comicon to the north, or even Vishanti. But not a village either, and prosperous in its own way. Their civil house was not large or lavish, but it was 2 stories tall, all fitted stone. Their palisade was tall and topped with tar to keep the Teshin out. Their god was strong and wise, his branches reaching high into the sky. And when the bells rang, there were oil lamps that needed dousing, as well as reed lights and candles. Most folks hurried to shutter glass windows, too, and they wrapped silver mirrors with thick, dark cloth to keep them safe. Still, Whittle was small enough that when Laniel and Tam started courting, no one was terribly surprised. They married, and Laniel had 3 children, 1 boy, 1 girl, and one that would have been a boy if he had lived. Tam worked in the mill, Laniel spun silk and gardened and kept the house. And in time, their children walked and talked and played and grew until they thought that kissing was more than merely interesting. At this point, most folks' stories would be sliding toward a comfortable end, punctuated here and there with the soft sweetness of a grandchild or the bitter death of an old friend. For many people, that would be the whole story, and it would be a good story, too. But Laniel was different. This story came from a convention that I went to. That's not the whole story, obviously. I went to a convention and Terry Windling, who knows who Terry Windling is, right? If you're geeks and you have not encountered Terry Windling, you're missing some of the best that fantasy has to offer. And she said, she's like, I've had kids, you know, I'm an adult woman, you know, I'm not a maiden. I'm kind of done being a mom. My kids are grown up. She's like, I don't feel like a crone yet. Because what, you know, she goes, where's my heroes? You know, where's somebody that, like in the fantasy genre, where's my mythic, you know, where's somebody that I can relate to? Where's a woman with grown children who is awesome, who will have an adventure, who will do something, who will go out into the world and fill this heroic role, or have an adventure, do anything like that. And I was sitting in the audience listening to her on this panel and just stupefied by how awesome and clever these people were. I go, that is really weird. And I tried to think of fantasy novels where the protagonist was a mature woman with children. In Scott Lynch's Seas Under Red Skies, you have the pirate. Any others? Yeah, I know. I pointed at you to say that. The fact that we seem to be able to come up with fucking 2 books in a room full of literate geeks, this is a fucking problem. So I thought, why shouldn't a woman with grown kids decide to just fucking go out and have some adventures? I thought, my mom would do that.
Yeah, baby.
You know? So, and it's hard. It's hard because if you write a story about an orphan boy who goes to a school of magic, you know, people have already blazed that trail for you, and so you can follow along and kind of improvise and vary that theme. But this one, there's not a lot out there. And I'm not a mature woman with grown children, so it makes it a little trickier. But the story's cool. Modeg is a cool place. It's a cool place. And I'm looking forward to getting to show it off to people. Okay. I've got just enough time for guinea pigs here. Just enough time for guinea pigs is my... I can't do the cover band here. Even if I could think one up, I shouldn't do that.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah, there you go, Richard Dreyfuss. See, I wasn't going to go there. I was going to try to be above that.
Not me.
Here's the letter that was written in. Dear Pat, I live in the dorms and I want to have a pet. But they say the only pets we can have are fish, and fish suck. You can't play or cuddle with a fish. I don't want a dog or anything, just like a hamster. What's the difference, really? They both live in an aquarium, right? And it's signed Pretty Emotional Toward Mammal Embargoes, which acronyms down into Pet Me. And my response, well, Pet Me, when I lived in the dorms, I too felt the desire for something mammalian to cuddle. However, since I horrify most women, I decided to buy an animal that was required to love me or face starvation. A pet, in other words. So I bought 2 guinea pigs and an aquarium. I called them Mr. Fluffins and Squeaky Pete. They were teddy bear short hairs, cute as buttons. How did I deal with the dorm rule against pets? Simple. I ignored it. This worked for about 2 months until my RA saw them. He told me I'd have to get rid of them, and I agreed. Then I got back to ignoring the rule. This worked really well for another month until he saw them again. Now we have a piece of script-style dialogue. Him, you said you were going to get rid of those. Me, get rid of what? Him, those. Me, I got rid of the old ones. Those are new ones. Him, you can't have any pets but fish. Me, they aren't pets, they're food. I'm fattening them up. Him, listen, there are rules. Me. In Thoreau's concept of civil disobedience, it's every citizen's duty to oppose unjust laws. Him. I'm getting the hall director. So 10 minutes later, the hall director comes in. He says, you can't have pets in the dorms. It says right in the handbook. Me. Except fish. Him. Right. Except fish. Me. Those are fish. Him. Those are guinea pigs. Me. Prove it. So he leaves and he comes back with a dictionary and he says, here, fish, an aquatic animal. Me. They're aquatic. Him. Prove it. So I leave and come back carrying my neighbor's 10-gallon aquarium. It's full of water, plastic plants, and several confused neon tetras named after the various stooges. Now at this point, you should know something. Squeaky Pete was everything you could want in a guinea pig. Loving, cuddly, playful. Mr. Fluffins, however, was standoffish. He would occasionally give me this snobby look as if he really didn't approve of my lifestyle. A few days ago, he and I had a talk of how he might more willingly come to embrace the role of loving pet. And at the end of the talk, I thought we were in agreement, but when I picked him up afterwards, he made me on my hand. So, with the hall director standing there, I picked up Mr. Fluffins, dusted the cedar chips off, and dropped him in the aquarium. He squeaked a little and started to swim. The hall director said, aquatic means they live underwater. Swimming around doesn't count. So, turning to look my hall director in the eye, I took Mr. Fluffins in a firm grip and pushed him. Sweet mother of fuck! He shouted, what are you doing? I'm showing you my fish. I said it calmly, still looking him in the eye. Mr. Fluffins and the Stooges started some improv comedy that lasted 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. I didn't look away from the hall director. His eyes were huge and he was sweating. I didn't blink. Fine, it's a fish, he said. I pulled Mr. Fluffins out of the tank, squeezed him out, and then wrapped him in a towel and put him on my roommate's bed just in case he decided to puke. And after that, pet me, the hall director never gave me any hassle at all. Best of all, Mr. Fluffins became the perfect pet. For about 3 weeks, then he tried to shiv me in my sleep. After that, we had another talk during which he made me on my hand yet again. So I killed him, ate him, and made his skin into a little hat that I wear to this day. That's my time, folks. Thanks so much for coming.